Rockstar. Welcome to another episode of Random Musing. My name is Queen Rafi and this is my podcast, Queen Rafi Space. And for today's episode, I would love to talk about this issue where we always say, mind your business, mind your business. There are tons and tons and tons of things in this life that should not concern you, that you should not even bother yourself about. But I feel that this has also sort of grown into even issues that we should concern ourselves about. We don't want to concern ourselves about it. So, on this episode, I'm talking about issues that you should not mind your business about. On these issues, do not mind your business. That's what I'm titling this episode. First things first. My dad always says this quote, right? And it always comes back to my head all the freaking time. He says, nobody wants to do the job that everybody is supposed to do because everybody's expecting that somebody is going to do it, right? And what this translates is that there are some issues that happen in society that we should all be angry about, we should all be furious about, but we don't get angry or furious. We try to say, I'm minding my business because we expect that some other people should do it for us. And at the end of the day, nobody ends up doing it. So this episode, I'm going to be outlining some of that. I actually shared this on the Queen Rafi Space Podcast Instagram page on, I think about 2 weeks back, asking people what they think are some issues that people should not mind their business about. And I got really interesting answers because you, Rockstar, you're very intelligent, you're very smart, and every answer that came in was spot on. So I'm going to start with the first one that is coming to my head right now before I get to the answers I got when I put out the post on Instagram. The first one is politics. Yes, I know. Believe me, especially if you're in Nigeria or you're African, the politics situation in Nigeria, and even Africa, it calls for a situation where you're like, man, I'm done. I don't even want to be part of this. It's not my business. But guess what? It is your business. It is your business to be part of the politics of your country. It is your business to have at least some idea about it. It is your business to go vote for that candidate. Whether they're going to rig the election or not, it is your business. And I understand the frustration that comes with that. But believe me, you not making a choice is you already making a choice. Because you're obviously saying to yourself, I don't care about my life. I don't care about whatever decisions these people are going to make. I'm just going to sit back and sleep in my house. So you have to be part of the process. When it comes to politics, you cannot say I'm minding my business. You cannot mind your business because whatever decisions are being made by the politicians, whether it's in your area, whether it's in your state, whether it's in the country at large, affects you directly and indirectly. It's not even a case where you say it doesn't affect you. Nah, it affects you directly and indirectly. So for you to sit back and not be part of that situation and say you're minding your business is technically you messing yourself up. That's it. Is you literally just signing. It's like carrying your life and signing it away to a bunch of people that you don't know and you have no idea what you're doing, but you're just there saying, no problem. Don't do that. With politics, you have to know something. Know who your councillor is. Know who the chairman of your area is. Know who the governor in your state is. Know what the state allocations are. Like, listen to the radio. Listen to some TV analysis of what's happening so that you have an idea. I get it. Ignorance is bliss, especially when it comes to the politics in Nigeria. But, to be fair, to say I'm minding my business is a terrible idea. Don't mind your business when it comes to the politics of where you are in. Because it literally dictates how your life is going to be. Whether you want to work, whether you want to sleep, whether you want to eat, whether you want to... Whatever it is, it dictates your life for you. So those kind of decisions, you cannot be leaving it to everybody else to make but you. So make those decisions. Be part of the politics, right? That's number one. Number two, injustice and domestic abuse. If you find injustice anywhere, that's not the time to say, oh, I'm just minding my business. No, it is your job to call out injustice. It is your job to call out domestic violence. It's your job to speak to the people and say, this is not all right. It is your job to actually do your best in making sure that you either diffuse the situation, report the situation, or you try to speak to the victim or the person who is perpetrating this injustice to realize this is not okay. Because what happens when you keep quiet is you give whoever is doing that injustice, you give them a lot more energy to thrive. And one way or the other, it might come back and affect you as a person. So what have you done? It's like penny wise, pound foolish. you avoided the situation only for it to come back and affect you in the long run. But if you tackle that injustice and you tackle that domestic violence right on there, you've saved thousands of people, including yourself, from a future disaster. You don't want to be that person where you say, oh, I'm minding my business. Your neighbor is probably, dealing with a child, beating this child to stupor and just being really, really mean to this child and maltreating a child, and you're saying, no, I'm minding my business. You're forgetting that if you have a child, your child is going to grow up in a world where this child who is being maltreated by someone else is going to be traumatized. And who knows what a traumatized child can end up doing. Like, when you ignore issues of injustice and issues of domestic violence and say, I'm minding my business, you're literally postponing your own doomsday. Because whether you realize it or not, the effects of what these people who are perpetrating injustice do to the victim end up in the society one way or another. Another issue where you should never, ever, ever mind your business is if you know that somebody is being sexually abused or somebody is being sexually harassed. You should not mind your business. If you have the ability to do something about it, do something. If you can talk to the person and get them out of the situation, that is the victim in this case, do it. If you can get the people who are, perpetrating this sexual abuse, you can make them pay for their sins and report them, do it. Do not ever say, I'm minding my business. Nah. Prosperity is not going to forgive you. The world is not going to forgive you for ever allowing injustice to pass. One of my favorite hadiths at the same time is one of the most, I don't know if I should say scary, but I think the amount of responsibility that is in that hadith makes me feel some type of when I think about it, is the hadith that says that if you see an evil thing happening, you must try to correct it with your hands. If you cannot correct it with your hands, then you must correct it with your mouth. If you cannot correct it with your mouth, then you must hate it in your heart. And hating it in your heart is the weakest form of faith. What I understand from this hadith, which is the saying of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you guys know I'm Muslim, is the fact that when you see an evil thing happening, you cannot mind your business. Anything evil, anything that doesn't translate into goodness for the society, you cannot say I'm minding my business. You see someone throwing dirt on the floor, but you say, oh, I'm minding my business. Guess what? That dirt is going to end up in the gutters, in your drainage system. It's going to block the road. If flood is happening in that street tomorrow, and your house is on that street, your house is going to get flooded. If your house gets flooded, the government facilities that are supposed to get to you might not get to you because they have to give it to those flood victims to be able to do their own life. And whatever it is that you plan to get from the government for whatever business or thing you're doing gets delayed. So we have to understand that we have a responsibility as a person, wherever it is that you are, to not mind your business when an evil thing is being done. Especially when you have the responsibility to actually effect change about that particular thing. You cannot mind your business. I hope that you've been able to get the central idea behind this particular episode, and I'm hoping that going forward, you're going to be able to confront some of the issues I spoke about and even think deeply about some other things that you should not be minding your business about. And this is not just about you listening, it's also for me. Because me too, I tend to say I'm minding my business, but there's some things that we should not be minding our business about. It is important to call out these things because at the end of the day, the ripple effect ends up in the society. And guess what? Me and you are still part of that society, so we get to suffer it as well. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Go out there and be the best citizen you can be by not minding your business when anything evil or anything that is wrong is happening. Thanks for listening.